You ever notice how everybody's worried about saving the planet? Save the planet, save the earth. Save the trees, save the whales. Nobody ever stops to ask the obvious question. What if the planet doesn't need saving? What if the planet's been doing just fine for billions of years, and the real problem isn't the dirt, or the water, or the sky, but the goddamn people walking around on top of it? People act like they're the landlords of Earth, like they're running the place, when in reality, we're the tenants who stopped paying rent about 50,000 years ago, and the landlord is about ready to kick us the hell out. The planet's not in trouble, folks. It's not in trouble at all. The planet is fine. It's the people who suck. The planet has survived ice ages, solar flares, magnetic pole reversals, comets slamming into its face like it owed them money, volcanoes belching out more smoke in one afternoon than every factory in Detroit could manage in a century. The planet's taken punches from the universe that would flatten any boxer, and it just keeps rolling along, whistling to itself, sprouting life out of every crack and crevice. You think a few plastic bags and exhaust pipes are going to put it out of commission? The Earth farts hurricanes. The Earth scratches itself and creates tsunamis. The Earth sneezes and whole mountain ranges come flying out of its nose. But here comes humanity, waddling around with its styrofoam cups and nuclear bombs, saying, "We better save the planet." Save it from what? From us. Ha! That's like cockroaches holding a meeting to discuss how they can save the kitchen from the exterminator. The truth is, the planet's got no problem with plastic. Plastic came from the Earth. It came from oil, which is just old dinosaurs and ferns that had a bad millennium. The planet made plastic. The planet probably needed plastic. Maybe the Earth was tired of rocks and trees and decided, you know what? Let's see what happens if I cook up a batch of this stuff. See if it can withstand a couple million years. And here we are, acting like it's some alien invasion. The only alien invasion on Earth is us. We act like tourists who overstayed their visas. We came here, set up shop, built a couple huts, figured out fire, and then decided, well, this place could use a mall. And what a mess we've made of the place. You ever notice how everything people build is just a slightly more complicated way of producing garbage? Think about it. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you eat breakfast, you go to work, you come home, you go to bed. Everything you touched that day ended up in the trash. Toothpaste tubes, food wrappers, coffee cups, paper towels, broken pens, dead batteries, busted toasters, worn-out shoes, junk mail, newspapers, magazines, styrofoam peanuts, plastic bags, and that's just Tuesday. Multiply that by 6 billion and you've got a planet buried in crap. And people are shocked. Oh my God, look at all the garbage. Where the hell did you think it was gonna go? It doesn't evaporate. It's not magic. You buy something, eventually it turns into garbage. That's the cycle. Everything you own is future garbage. The car you're so proud of, future garbage. The fancy suit you wear to impress strangers, future garbage. The house you live in, one day it'll be a pile of rubble in a raccoon's bathroom. Everything goes in the bin. But we're so sentimental about our stuff. Oh no, my iPod. Yeah, that's garbage with earbuds. And humans, we're real clever. We invent things specifically designed to last 10 minutes. Packaging, wrapping, containers. You ever notice the packaging lasts longer than the product? You buy a sandwich, it's gone in 5 minutes, but the wrapper is still floating around in the ocean confusing fish for the next 100 years. You eat the food, you shit it out, it goes away, but the box sticks around forever. That's our great contribution to Earth's legacy. Wrappers, boxes, and bags. Archaeologists in the year 50,000 will dig up our landfills and say, these people worshipped a god named Pepsi. Meanwhile, the Earth doesn't give a damn. You think the Earth cares about 6 billion humans scurrying around with shopping carts? The Earth has seen worse. People talk about nuclear war like it's the end of everything. Nuclear war? The planet will shake that off like a dog shakes off water. It might take a few million years, but what's a million years to the Earth? Nothing. That's a coffee break. You drop a couple atom bombs, wipe out a city or two, fry a few million bipeds, and in a blink of geologic time, the grass grows back. The trees sprout again, the rivers run clean, and a brand new species takes over. Maybe cockroaches get taller. Maybe dolphins grow thumbs. Maybe the mushrooms finally have their moment. Whoever it is, they'll do better than us. And at least they won't invent reality shows. You ever notice how self-important people are when they talk about the environment? We have to protect the environment. You can't protect the environment. The environment will outlast you, outplay you, and outlive you by a factor of infinity. The environment is not fragile. The environment produced volcanoes, hurricanes, and earthquakes. You think it's worried about a couple plastic bottles? The environment produced the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. That's the environment's way of saying, next! But here comes humanity, organizing Earth Day, planting a couple trees in a parking lot, and patting themselves on the back like they saved the planet. Congratulations, you stuck a sapling next to a strip mall? Now everything's fine. And don't get me started on recycling. Recycling is the suburban version of praying. It's what people do to feel good about themselves without actually changing anything. They separate the glass from the plastic, the paper from the cans, then hop into their SUV and drive 15 miles to the recycling center. Look at me, I'm saving the earth. No, you're just rearranging garbage. You're playing musical chairs with trash. And the funniest part? Half that stuff ends up in the same landfill anyway. But hey, at least you gotta feel virtuous. People love virtue as long as it doesn't inconvenience them. And that's the real truth. People don't want to save the planet, they want to save themselves. When they say you save the earth, what they mean is make sure the air stays breathable and the water stays drinkable long enough for me to keep buying DVD and microwave burritos. That's all. It's selfishness dressed up as concern. If tomorrow the atmosphere suddenly turned into gold dust and diamonds started raining from the sky, nobody would complain about a climate change. They'd be outside with buckets and wheelbarrows. It's only when nature starts inconveniencing them, flooding their homes, frying their crops, melting their ski resorts, that people start to panic. Nature isn't evil, folks. Nature is indifferent. Hurricanes don't have a grudge. Earthquakes aren't angry. Tornadoes aren't punishing you. They're just doing their thing the same way they've been doing for billions of years. You just happen to build your house in the wrong place. That's not tragedy, that's poor planning. And yet humans walk around with this smug attitude like they're in charge. We're the top of the food chain. Are we? You ever notice how one mosquito can ruin your whole night? One mosquito this big and you're slapping yourself like an idiot. Or ants. You ever spill some sugar? 5 minutes later, you got an army marching through your kitchen like they just invaded Poland. You think you're in charge and... Oh, leave the door open one afternoon and the squirrels will redecorate your living room. We're not in charge. We're barely tolerated. We're like noisy house guests and the landlord's getting restless. And don't tell me about human achievements. Oh, we went to the moon. Big deal. The moon's still there. You didn't do anything to it. You just visited, left some garbage, and came back. That's humanity's calling card. Wherever we go, we leave garbage. The ocean, full of garbage. The mountains. Garbage. The desert. Garbage. Outer space. There's garbage floating around up there, screws and wrenches from satellites. We turned orbit into a junk drawer. If aliens ever visit, they'll take one look and say, these people treat the universe like a landfill. Meanwhile, the Earth just keeps spinning. Day, night, seasons change, tides roll in and out, trees grow, mountains crumble, rivers carve valleys. Glaciers grind continents, and not 1 second of it depends on you. If every human vanished tomorrow, the Earth would throw a party. The grass would crawl over the highways, vines would strangle the buildings, deer would frolic through Times Square, and the only thing left of us would be a couple of rusty shopping carts. The planet would say, finally, peace and quiet. So don't worry about the planet. The planet's gonna be fine. It's been here for 4.5 billion years. It'll be here for 4.5 billion more. People are the problem. People are the disease. The Earth has the cure. And when it finally decides it's had enough of us, it won't be subtle. It'll cough, it'll sneeze, it'll scratch an itch, and we'll be gone. And the Earth will keep spinning just fine without us. Because the planet is fine. It's the people who suck. You ever notice how stupidity is the one thing society never runs out of? We run out of oil, we run out of water, we run out of patience at the DMV. But stupidity, that's renewable. That's our greatest natural resource. Forget coal, forget wind power, forget solar. Stupidity is the only thing we produce in endless supply. If we could bottle stupidity and burn it for fuel, we'd have free energy forever. And the best part? Every generation thinks the next generation is dumber, but it never occurs to anyone that maybe dumb is the default setting. You don't have to invent dumb, it comes standard. You ever flip on the TV and wonder how we got this way? Every channel is some new way of being stupid. Cooking shows. Game shows. Reality shows. Reality for Christ's sake. As if reality needed a camera crew. People love to watch other people embarrass themselves. That's our idea of entertainment. You've got a guy who can't sing, a woman who can't cook, a family that can't stop yelling at each other. And the rest of us sit there on the couch, shoving potato chips into our mouths, thinking, oh wow, this is good television. No, it's not. It's a televised asylum, and the inmates are running the place. And the commercials in between are there to remind you that you're not good enough. But don't worry, we've got a new shampoo to solve that. The only thing television actually teaches you is that stupidity sells, and there's no shortage of buyers. And what about advertising? That's where stupidity goes to college and graduates with honors. Advertising is the science of convincing you to buy things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't like. You see a commercial with a car zipping down a mountain road at 120 miles per hour. Nobody in the car, no traffic, no cops, no insurance payments, no potholes. And you think, yeah, that's me. That's not you. That's not anybody. That's a fantasy brought to you by idiots who get paid millions to make sure you feel stupid enough to believe it. And you do. Because people love to believe lies that make them feel important. That's why you've got beer commercials where drinking a six-pack turns you into a sex god. Now, you know what drinking a six-pack really turns you into? A bloated idiot peeing behind a dumpster. But they can't show that, so they give you a party full of bikini models instead. And people fall for it every time. You ever notice that? People love being lied to. It makes them comfortable. Politicians lie, preachers lie, advertisers lie, teachers lie, even your mother lied when she said you were special. If everyone's special, nobody's special. But we lap it up because the truth is too depressing. Nobody wants to hear the truth. The truth is ugly, boring, and hard to sell. Lies are shiny. They come with a jingle, and they fit in your pocket. So the whole culture runs on lies, and stupidity is the grease that keeps it moving. You can't have a functioning lie machine without dumb people to operate it. Look at politics. Politics is just organized stupidity with a budget. Every election, the same routine. Two people stand on a stage, shout slogans at each other, and a bunch of idiots in the crowd wave signs like they're at a pep rally. He's gonna change things. She's gonna fix everything. No, they're not. Nobody's fixing anything. The job isn't to fix things. The job is to keep things broken just enough that you'll stay distracted, stay afraid, and stay stupid. You ever notice that politicians don't actually solve problems? They just invent new ones. War on drugs, war on poverty, war on terror. Always a war, always something abstract. Something you can't win, so they can keep you stupid, keep you scared, and keep you voting. And people fall for it every single time. That's the amazing thing. Stupidity isn't just a side effect, it's the whole point. And religion, don't even get me started. We had knowledge, history, philosophy, art. We could have built a society around wisdom, reason, compassion. But no, we went with stupidity. It was easier. Wisdom takes effort. Reason takes patience. Compassion takes empathy. Stupidity just takes noise. You can crank out stupidity by the ton and people will line up to buy it. You can't sell wisdom. You can't put compassion in a commercial. But you can sell a bag of salty snacks to a guy who doesn't even know why he's eating them. That's society's greatest achievement. Turning stupidity into an industry. And the most depressing part? It works. Society is held together by stupidity. If people suddenly got smart, the whole thing would collapse. Nobody would buy useless crap. Nobody would believe politicians. Nobody would fund wars. Nobody would waste Sundays chanting at the ceiling. And the entire system would grind to a halt. The only reason civilization exists at all is because people are stupid enough to keep feeding it. The machine runs on stupidity the way your car runs on gasoline. Take it away and the engine stalls. Stupidity is the glue, the oil and the gasoline of society. Without it, everything falls apart. Which means the people in charge have one job: keep everyone stupid, and they're good at it. They're really good at it. So here we are, a species capable of curing diseases, splitting atoms, building skyscrapers, and sending probes to other planets. And what do we do with all that potential? We argue about reality shows, we buy useless junk, we believe in invisible friends, we elect clowns. We call it progress. That's the legacy. That's the great accomplishment. Not art, not science, not philosophy. Stupidity. Endless, glorious stupidity. And we keep finding new ways to make it bigger, louder, and dumber, because deep down we don't want to be smart. Being smart means responsibility. Being smart means admitting you've been wrong. Nobody likes that. So we stick with stupid and we call it normal. Because society's greatest achievement has always been finding new ways to be stupid.